Hey, what's up everybody? This is Steve from Vespa Motorsport in Scooter West. I'm the general manager here with Alex. Alex is the founder and CEO. Alex is the guy that started this business 22 plus years ago. We've kind of grown very gradually and grassrootsy. Alex is a lifelong scooterist. He spent much of his adult life without actually owning a car. And as part of an extenuation of the employee spotlights, Alex is actually going to talk about his brand new bike he's had for all about a month now. Right. So I'm going to hop back over to the camera, might prompt Alex with some questions, but he's going to take it away. So what can you tell us, what bike is this first and foremost?
Thanks, Steve. This is a 2014 BV350. I just had this, like Steve said, I just got this a month ago. This, and it's been awesome. I, of course, had to play around with it a little bit. With any new toy, you want to do some stuff. So I did do a few little extra custom things for it. Pretty much everybody here owns a scooter. They all do custom stuff. I actually have a commute of about 15 miles. I've actually been using this one on the freeway almost exclusively. Actually, technically speaking, I do not own a car right now. So this is based on my two-wheeled car. And I'm going to use it rain and shine on the freeway mostly. I've actually had this bike up to 95 miles an hour on the speedo indicated. So, and the reason I've had it up there is we've actually done a few little performance things to it. So I'm going to start off with some of the extra little things. Mostly lighting is some little trick stuff we've done. This stuff is, if you live here in town, it's probably stuff we could do for you. We haven't really set up a kit quite for it yet. But here we actually hooked up, of course, these LEDs in here. But then we went ahead and hooked up the actual turn signals like the European bikes have. If you notice, the American pods aren't here actually. So these work great, lights up well. This is a little bit of a conversion though, because you do have to drill a hole and put a little bulb socket in there and stuff, and we do not have a kit for that. So if you live here in town, like I said, in San Diego, you can actually bring it in, robot can figure something out for you. But if you're elsewhere, it'd be a little more tricky, so not a kit for that. So there's on both sides. So we have that light. Also, if we roll around to the back here, we've actually done the tail light too. So this is actually, the pods are gone. If you notice, the whole fender is actually gone. And here's the basically how the European bikes are set up with the turn signal in there. There again, there's a little more of a tricky setup. I had to do it, robot did it super custom for me. There's actually a whole little trailer relay we had to fit in there. And here's the brake lights in there too. But it really cleans up the bike really nice actually. So I really actually like that.
Check this out, Al. Let's revisit the fender when the lights are back on, but let's go ahead and spin it back around so we can kind of show the new lighting in the front in the dark. So
yeah, so there's those. Here's the European turn signals, and this is basically like hooked up. This is a little bit of a getting that in there, but something that can be done. So, and I'll go ahead and fire this thing up here too. And the other thing we've done, this is actually HID. So we will have a kit for that soon. Shut that off. So we'll actually have a kit for the HID on there soon, but that's something we kind of did custom on this one right now.
Let's fire that HID back up, Al, and shine it against the roll-up door so people can get an idea of just how bright that is.
You can actually turn the engine off, and then the light will stay on.
Okay. There
you go. Nice.
Nice.
So let's spin that around.
Okay, let's light up this place. Disco ball here. So there's with the HID. To give you a comparison, we actually have the old low beam in here, and there's that ugly, ugly yellow old halogen, horrible, stupid looking light. Here's HID, just so much brighter, so much nicer. It lights the road. Excellent safety feature. Be seen, see and be seen. There's no better safety feature than that. And I'm talking in the day or at night. So you never know on a motorcycle, you're cruising along, who knows, potholes, road hazards. Having adequate lighting is very, very, very important. So let's roll back around here.
Yeah, that really demonstrates it actually in the dark. You can see very well through the camera just how bright that is. We're going to turn the house lights back on. We're going to keep rolling. Alex is going to kind of roll on, talk about some of the next round of modifications he's made.
The next stuff is on the performance list here. So as you can see, the Melosi exhaust, that's pretty blatant. We have that on there. That was an incredible, great upgrade. Lightened it, increased the power, makes the thing sound, have a nice little rumble to it. So it's a kind of a win-win-win situation for that.
Now, hey, Alex, you say it lightened it. Do you remember how much?
Yeah,
it
actually
lightened
this cut 10 pounds off of it actually. This pipe weighs 7.5 pounds. The original muffler was actually 17.5 pounds. So it made a great improvement. Included, you know, stainless steel, carbon fiber tip, looks attractive, weighs less, performs better, and sounds awesome. So it's like a win-win-win-win-win situation there. So highly recommend for this. Anybody with a BV, like I said before, anybody that doesn't have a BV should buy one, and just to get this pipe. So
Cool thing about that exhaust too is it's not a slip-on, it's a complete system. So it comes from Melosi with a specially designed header for the actual silencer portion, which is kind of cool.
And very easy to install too. So it's really simple. You can probably get it installed in about 10 minutes. The fuel injection remaps it all for it. So yeah, it's a pretty much, you know, just a beautiful thing. So beautiful, easy thing to do. So we've done that. We also did a variator inside the transmission. You can't really see much in there, but it makes a big difference. The variator actually increases off the line power and gives you higher top speed too. It lets the belt ride higher. So that makes like a huge improvement. Pretty easy to do too. We have a video we're doing soon with the variator being installed. Super easy thing to do. Just for reference, you know, the variator, if you want to check it out on scooterwest.com, we do have that up there. And that's actually part number M5115308. And then actually the Melosi pipe too, we got that also on the scooterwest.com. And that one, M3215157, just for reference. You'll want to order one if you have one of these bikes. Like we saw in the dark here, I actually did remove the whole rear fender. I kind of like that whole little sport bike look. You can kind of see the tire more. I got a license plate placed here, so you shouldn't get too much splash from it. But the stock fender is, you know, kind of, you know, quite a bit on there. So, but then we had to incorporate the turn signals in there for that. One thing I did on the BV350 on this one also was remove the little, you know, little butt rest here. That makes a big difference. I'm only 5'6", and that thing actually bothered me having that little. So taller people I know absolutely hate the thing. Don't discourage buying the bike just because of that. You can easily remove it. It does have 3 little holes here. You could easily plug the little upholstery things in there. So, you know, we've had people come in and test ride the bike and like, oh, I don't like that thing. I don't want to buy it. It's like, it comes right off. It doesn't look bad at all. So I definitely highly recommend taking that off for anybody. I'm not sure why that's even on there. On the bike, we got the stock windshield on there, which works pretty well. We do have actually taller ones. This one works pretty good though. Or you can actually remove this windshield altogether. And they actually come with a little plate here so you can block it off. So we've done a few other little trick things on here too. One of the things you can't really do in California, and I'm going to put it back in right after we're done, but I guess we can't really even zoom in here, huh?
I'll come hands-free. Keep talking, it's cool.
Yeah, but I got to put this back in after we're done filming this, but I wanted to see just what it looked like. And if you're in, well, I think most of the states in the United States, you actually do not have to have the carb evap system. In California, I'm gonna have to throw the thing back in there because it's required by law. We have to have it here. But what that does is it opens up your trunk space like quite a bit actually. So this gives you a lot more room. The whole thing kind of takes up this whole compartment here. The European bikes, of course, don't have that. The US bikes do because they make them all carb compliant for even though they're in states where it's not necessary. So that's a really neat thing to do if you're in that state. So, but there again, you know, check your local laws. So.
And hey, Alex, you said that this is a new bike for you, right? What were you driving previous to this?
Yeah, this I've had, you know, hundreds of Vespas over the years. Before this one, I had a Super 300. That's an amazing bike as well. This does give you a little higher top speed, kind of a little better freeway cruiser. You know, just with a 16-inch wheel, well, 16-inch front, 14-inch in the rear. It, you know, it kind of just, and a little heavier weight, it just do freeway well. For around town, the Super 300 is kind of better, and I still own that. And I love that bike. We can probably have it up here on the pedestal and do a little thing on it too. So, but you know, in closing, BV350, 2014, awesome bike. One of the best bikes I've ever driven. Highly recommend it for anybody, especially, you know, a lot of freeway traveling. You can do long commutes, you can cross country. We had one of these we sold to a guy. He took it, you know, did 40 states, put 10,000 miles on it, and absolutely loved the thing. So it's you know, kind of great commuter bike for especially a little more distance. So good gas mileage. I've checked it so far. I've been getting like 60, hovering 60 to 70. which is like pretty good for this size of bike. And yeah, it's just can't say anything bad about this thing at all, other than removing this little thing. That was it. So
I'm not going to let you get off the hook quite that easily, Alex.
yeah. All right.
You talked about commuting on it. Do you have any idea what kind of fuel economy you've been getting thus far in your ownership of this
So
particular
far I've been doing pretty good. I'd say around 60 miles per gallon I've been doing. So I've been keeping, getting my receipt each time I print it out at the gas pump, writing my mileage on it. And I've been surprised actually for this size of bike and what I've been doing, hitting the freeway. I've been, I cruise pretty much 80 on the freeway, which people do here in California, even though, the speed limit's more like 65, but to stay with the flow of traffic, kind of have to do that. And so I drive a little just, aggressively and pretty quick, so, which you kind of have to do. So, but even when doing that, I've been getting 60 miles per gallon. So that's pretty good for this size of bike. So
Yeah, butting in and dropping a little editorial. For those of you who've never actually been on a rally or a ride with Alex, he's pretty much balls to the wall, full throttle on most of the stuff he owns. Likes to take advantage of the snappiness and the speed and acceleration that all the scooters really offer. And obviously this one with the size of the engine, the new 350, offers quite a bit more than most of the other scooters he's on.
Yeah, I definitely love snapping the throttle on the thing and just taking it as fast as the thing can go. On the flip side though too, braking on this thing has been amazing actually. It's one thing we can point out. I think we've done it in a couple of our videos, but this has the actual braking for the rear actually does activate the front as well. So, which gives you just amazing stopping power. The large rotors on these things actually, I've had no problem stopping whatsoever, even like cruising at, absolute speeds, going 80 miles an hour and hitting the brakes. The thing, you got traffic ahead of you, you hit it, the thing stops on a dime, so it's awesome. Considering the weight of the bike, that's pretty nice actually. So, but you can see the huge, the dual setup there for the dual hydraulics, so which activate the rear, or the rear activates the front as well. So yeah, that's excellent. Side stand is nice little feature that comes standard on it. I've used that quite a bit. People are kind of like, oh, I'm worried about the side stand, but it's a great little thing to have, closing a gate, dropping a mail in mailbox, running little things. It's pretty handy to have that on there. So I really love the little accessory or standard side stand that comes with it. It does have a little kill switch on there. So there's other great features on this bike too. So just, it comes standard with it. Adjustable shocks, you got a little preload on the spring you can adjust. And this thing pretty much comes like, pretty equipped. The little hook here that folds down. The center gas tank's neat. It keeps all the weight down lower, which is kind of a neat feature. So yeah, this thing is just loaded with fun stuff actually. So I'm like very impressed by this bike. I think it's kind of the future of Piaggio. They kind of keep improving every model that comes out. I mean, they've been building scooters since 1946. They know what they're doing. So like no other company builds a scooter like Vespa. They got style, performance, reliability. So that was the other thing we went over was, service intervals on this bike is amazing. 625, we just did a service on it. The next one we don't have to do till 6,000 miles. So the tires are gonna last a long time. The belt's gonna last a long time. You're really gonna get a lot of value out of this bike. So, I mean, I thought so much that I actually bought one. So it's a really good sign when the owner of the shop actually buys one themselves. So I think that's it. I don't know, you got anything else, Steve, on this amazing bike?
I don't know, Alex, you can definitely tell that you're pretty stoked. Excited to be an owner of a BV350. You've already done some cool modifications. Don't think we can add too much more. Look for Alex's future videos of some of his other custom bikes. What you got, Al? One final thing?
Yeah, well, 4 people here from the shop also on one of these, including yourself, Steve, right?
That's right.
So that's, I mean, what more can you say about that? So it's an amazing bike, so.
All right,
All right,
everybody, we're going to sign off. This is Alex Cohn, founder of Vespa Motorsport in Scooter West in San Diego, talking about his brand new BV350. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the business. We appreciate it. Signing off.